What's up, you guys? All right, well, here we are, day 2 of trading on my traveling trading station, which, as you know, I had to buy a new laptop when I got here because I left my charger at home, and the charger for my laptop is so specific I couldn't find a replacement anywhere. But I have paid off the new computer times 20 just yesterday and today because the market has been so hot, or Friday and today. So I got up this morning, I'm looking out on the view, the sun is rising right over here. I pull up my scanners and I see that we have 4 stocks up over 100%, and the leading gapper this morning was up over 300%. So I was like, all right, this is great. The market is still hot. I gotta sit down, I gotta take some trades. But you know what's frustrating today is that I actually went into the red on my first 3 trades. And I felt like I kind of fumbled one of the trades really badly. It coulda, shoulda, woulda been a like $10,000, $15,000 winner, but I stopped out and then it rips. So that gave me a little dose of FOMO and frustration to start the day, but that ended up being all right because what ended up happening was it kind of put me in a zone where I was a little bit more aggressive, and then as we had a couple other stocks that popped up, I traded them really well. So it's a little windy out there, so I'm going to come back inside, back to my traveling trading station right here, and I'm going to jump on the screen share and I'm going to break down for you the trades I took today and this, solid green day that's continuing this trend of a hot market. So let's jump on screen share and break it down. All right, so let's start breaking it down here. Finishing the day, $10,867.54. I had a flat top today in my equity curve. I hit 12,000 3 times. The first time was early, probably around like 7:30 or 8, and then dropped back down to up about 8,000. So gave back like $5,000 off the top, and then came back up to 12. And then dropped back down to 9, and then came back up to 12, and then dropped down to 10. So I was not able to break through resistance at 12,000 today, but that's okay. Nonetheless, it's still a solid green day, no complaints here. And why don't we start breaking down the first trade? So I broke the ice this morning on CCSI at about 7 a.m. And I'm red on CC. Let's see, where is it on the P&L? $64. Okay, that's not too bad. I traded about 14 stocks, as you can see here. So traded everything that was moving. In fact, I would have done better if I had traded only SPRC. But when I took my first trade on SPRC, I didn't know that it was going to go up that much. Just like when I took my first trades on meds, or I took my first trades on some of these that are red. I didn't know what they were going to do. So I kind of had to, take trades on 14 stocks in order to figure out which ones were the ones that were going to open up and give me the opportunity to keep adding and get aggressive on, which in this case today was SPRC, but it could have been any of the others. Okay, so first trade of the day, CC at 6:57 a.m. So CC starts to curl up. By the way, this is one of the ones I looked at on my scans at like 5:30 this morning, and it was up a lot. The move actually started after hours on Friday, continued into this morning, squeezed up big time at 4 a.m., drops down, pops up again at 6, and at 7 a.m. it started curling right here. And so, I jumped in here adding at 385. It goes up to a high of 410, but I kept adding. 7,000 share position, started with 85, added at 90, 99, and 401. So my average was like 88. Had that squeezed to 415, 425, would I have sold? I probably would have kept adding. And then I'd be in with 10,000 shares. And then maybe 12,000 shares. And next thing you know, it's up at 450. I'm taking some profit off the table and I'm up $6,000 or something like that. But it ended up flushing. And so that first trade stopped me out for a loss, but a small loss. I'm only red $64 on it. So it's not a big deal. But, first trade of the day, in the red. Okay. Second trade was meds. So meds was the sort of second leading gapper that I was watching right about 7 a.m. And this is my, I guess, biggest regret today. I'll look at it on a 10-second chart because it'll make me feel better about why I stopped out. When you look at it on the 1 minute, you're just going to think I'm a I'm a total idiot. But and while sometimes I am, I did have good reason for selling this, and it was the right move. So sorry, I'm having a hard time. Let me just click auto. All right, that'll be better. Okay, so 7:05. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so this was so I added right around here at 13. I added 4,500 shares. Pretty big position. It drops down here on this candle to 1250, and I'm down 2,000 bucks. Now I like the stock still. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna add at 1260, and I'm gonna set my stop at the low of this pullback. Okay, so that's averaging down, not great, but when I do it, I add and then set my stop at the low. So new stop is 1250. It bounces up and goes up to 1348. I add at 1350. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then on this candle, it flushes to 13, and I got scared. First of all, I just took a roller coaster ride on this. I was down 2 grand, then I was up, but I added. So now my average, even though I added down here at like 1260, then I add at 1350, my average is still 13. But now I'm in with a big position. So it comes down to 13, and I'm like, you know what? Shoot, I better just cut it break even. I stop out break even, and it rips to 1550. And I was just like, oh my God. I got back in it with small size right here. And then I got back in it up here and I ended up losing on this trade. And I'm down like 1,200 on the stock. And I was like, gosh darn it, this is ridiculous. So at that point, I was down 1,000 on the day or 1,100 on the day. It then comes back up here, and I took this trade for the breakthrough this resistance area. It's a 1-minute ABCD pattern. And I made 3,400 on that, or 4,400, because I went from red on it to green. So that was a good trade. Anyways, it goes a little higher, but sort of stalled out, and that was that. Okay, so started the day with a little bit of a roller coaster on meds. Went red and then back to green. Anyways, so not ideal, but I'm on the leaderboard, so all right, that's good. Then I took a trade on Lunar, LUNR. This one popped up to $9 pre-market right here, and I took a trade on it right on this candle in the green. Stopped out on the red for a $400 loss. Pretty much instant rejection. It came back up later, and I did trade it as it was grinding back up. So I'm only down. Actually, no, I'm up $21 on it, but and nonetheless, it just I wasn't. This was like a grinder. It was thickly traded. It was not easy. So whatever. Went a little higher, but didn't make good money on it. CMMB. Okay, so CMMB, I end up getting a trade on this one. Ends up totally rejecting, as you can see. But I jumped in it as it was squeezing up at 95 cents. It hit a high of 108, and I added to it, thinking this was going to go to like 125, 150, like could be a big one. Comes back down, stop out, break even, $11. Okay, so another break even stock. And then we had SPRC. All right, so SPRC comes up. You might hear some commentary from the peanut gallery upstairs. Anyways, so SPRC goes from $4 up to, this is crazy, $10.50 a share. This was a wild move. So although I didn't trade it as well as I probably could have, I locked up some solid profit on it, 11,000. This was the best one of the day. And I just, you never know which one's going to make the move. And this one just started a little choppy, pops up, drops down, and then it starts to pull away more and more and more and more. So it ends up going to a high, thank you, ends up going to a high of about 886, pulls back, got a little ABCD pattern here. But the bulk of my profit was just trading in this first leg, jumping in at $half and whole dollars and selling as it would break through that level. And I was just getting like 30, 40, 50 cent pops each time to 6,000 shares, 8,000 shares. Got a couple nice trades on it. Took my biggest positions as it got a little higher, which you have to be a little careful about because sometimes you end up taking biggest position at high a day and then catch a big rejection. But um, anyways, I managed to come away in good shape on this, but unfortunately it's pulled back quite a bit. So there were no additional trades going into the open after that first move. Um, and then a lot of the others today were stocks that hit the scans and were moving up, and I got into the half dollar or a whole dollar to see if it would continue higher. And I either got a small profit or a small loss on it. CMND was my biggest loser, and this is a lower price stock. Very annoying. Stopped out twice in a row on it, both times at $2. I got in right here for the break at 2, goes up to 215, drops all the way down to 185. I lose 1500. I get back in here as it breaks over 210, it hits 224, and then drops again to 193. And I was like, yep, okay, that's it. I'm done with that one. Don't need to trade that again. PRSO, similar story. And, some of these are lower priced, which is not what I usually like, but I was sort of just trying to trade what was moving. The thing is, in this hot market, it is a little bit of jumping on and then seeing if it pulls away or just getting out and keeping the loss tight. Because when some of them start to move fast, if you're not in early, it feels like you're kind of missing the whole move or it's too extended to chase it. So I am jumping in pretty quickly on some of these, but also taking quick losses and cutting it quickly if it doesn't keep going. MNPR, right? So this was the one that is sort of, it's annoying because I ended up having a good read on it, but losing on it. Got in right here for the break of $1.08, $1.10. It goes up to $1.15. Made like 600 on that trade, 15,000 shares. Pulls back, got back in for the break here. It squeezes higher. I got out with profit. And then I got in right here to $1.50, thinking we were going to squeeze with 20,000 shares. I was like, okay, I'm going to step up. And it flushes and I lost 2,000. Then it comes back up, but I got back in only with small size and sold into the halt, which was the right move because it opened lower and halted down, but I wasn't able to recoup everything I lost on it. So red 900 on that one. But nonetheless, it's a green day. Can't really complain too much. I have today's a green day. Commentary from the peanut gallery. So I'm red on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stocks. And I'm green on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stocks, which means I'm walking away today with a little bit more money than I started the morning, which means I got paid for some morning of work, which is good. So I made more than I lost. I had some losers, but I had some winners, and the winners were bigger than the losers. So in trading, I made more today than I lost, which is good. So I had a bunch of trades that I took, and in total, this is the one thing today is that my commissions are going to be high because I traded 14 different stocks, and I don't even know how many tickets. Let's see. So I can look up. Let's see. So tickets. Where is it? Trade count. Okay. So trade count. So I traded. I took 407 individual tickets, which would be like buying 3 times, selling 3 times, etc. So that would cost $407. It's $1 a ticket with my commission structure. So that's $1 per trade. That's not that bad. But it's the ECN fees. So I figure on a day like today, realistically, I'm probably looking at $1,500 in ECN fees. Maybe not quite that much, maybe $1,200. It could be substantial. And that's that's the cost of direct access routing. I'm going to get really quick executions, but I'm going to pay the price, especially when I'm trading 20,000 share positions on low price stocks. The higher price stocks like Meds or DTSS or Lunar or even SPRC commissions they're pretty negligible. I mean, 10% of my profit, let's just say, roughly. But it's going to be on a cheap stock where I take 20,000 shares, I make 4 cents, I'm up $400. But 20,000 shares times 0.004, right? All of a sudden now it's like $160 round trip. So you do that 5 times and you're at 1,000 plus in commissions. It adds up. That's that's the downside. So you got to be really careful with penny stocks. So, anyways, but nonetheless, although last year my fees and commissions were a little higher, maybe around 15% of my total profit, in other years it's been less. It just kind of depends on the price range of stocks that I'm trading the most. And if I'm trading lower price stocks, the fees will be higher. So it's just the cost of doing business, in my opinion. Yes, I could use Thinkorswim, and I have before. I know a lot of members at Warrior do use Thinkorswim, and they like it a lot. You get used to what you're used to. I'm used to Lightspeed. It's been the broker I've been using since 2017. So, um, it's you stick with what you know, even if maybe you should switch. And I've thought about it, but I have a Lightspeed or a Thinkorswim account. I traded in it a little bit last year, and I was just like, I don't know. There were just times where I didn't like the fills, or I just felt like it was a little slower, and so I don't know. But anyways, for now, sticking with Lightspeed, and always happy to lock up a green day. So right now, we're in a market that is just super hot, super strong. This is great to see. I hope it continues, of course. And naturally, hot streaks, you know, come to an end at a certain point. But if we look at my, equity curve right here, we are pulling away pretty quickly. So pulling away means moving up. So although this is the smallest green day of the last four, it's still a super solid day. So, it's going to push my profits, extend them by another 10,000, and we'll see what this week has in store for us. I think the fact that we had some rejections should make us a little cautious, but uh, at the same time, with a stock like SPRC going totally insane, um, we, I'm going to be looking for the next one tomorrow, and I'm just going to try not to get married to it. Trade aggressively, and then once it starts to slow down, I'll scale back and call it a day. So that's the game plan for tomorrow. Locking up another green day today, and I hope you guys were able to manage your risk. I'll remind you, as always, that my results are not typical. Trading is risky, and even in a hot market like this, it wouldn't have been hard to be read. Just because we had such big moves and we had some round trips, we had some rejections. So, if you're new, just take it slow, practice in a simulator, and ask yourself, where's support? Can I get an entry off support? If you can get an entry off support, that's going to be a good way to manage your risk. More aggressive traders like myself, we're going to be trading breakouts, and that's going to work really well, but it takes time to get to that level. So, all right, that's it for me, and I'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. Okay, see you in the morning.